It's Mike with Tech BB, and today let's do the review on the Dangerous Power G4. Now I'm trying not to call it the G3 because it's, Dangerous Power G3 has been a really popular marker, but Dangerous Power G4. Let's go and unbox it. I know we did this once before, and let's take a look at what we get inside here. Dangerous Power does a great job in their packaging, okay? And it's really important for a gun of this price point, even though you're getting probably more than what you're paying for. A lot of people start their paintball careers off with Dangerous Power guns, and Dangerous Power definitely does not disappoint with their packaging. They do a great job. You got a full color manual here showing you how to do pretty much everything in the gun. They take it completely apart, how to program it, take apart your reg, bolt, you name it, it's all in here, and some troubleshooting at the end. Got some little stickers in here, which is always good. And of course, we've got the marker. Let's take that out of the box. We got a nice little O-ring kit here, which always comes in handy, barrel sock, and it comes with the, you used to have these really nice Allen keys, but I don't know what happened to them, but these are all the Allen keys you'll ever need for the Dangerous Power gun. And of course it comes with a nice 14-inch barrel, which I believe these bore out at about a 690. So let's go ahead and put some of this stuff in the box because we've got to make some room. Okay. Now, Dangerous Power G3. It was one of those guns that was almost perfect for $300. The two biggest problems that they had with the Dangerous Power G3 was the board was always kind of and the trigger was always like So, the new Dangerous Power G4, they did a lot of improvements to the trigger, and they did a massive amount of improvements to the board. The board is great in the Dangerous Power G4. You can take this and go and use it in tournaments. You got adjustable fire modes. You got PSP, which is great. I mean, you name it, the board's got it. If you need it, it's going to have it in there already. It's great. They also did away with the optical board and went with the micro switch. I'm more of a micro switch person. Some people like the optical, not really me. I generally tend to like the micro switch boards. They seem to work a little bit better, especially when you're using, a breakaway magnet system, which is what the G4 uses. Having the click of the trigger switch allows it just to kick the trigger off, but you get a lot less bounce, a little easier to set your trigger up. But anyway, one thing about the G4 that a lot of people comment on right away is its size. It is a small marker. I can pretty much grab the reg and grab the frame and the regulator in one hand. I mean, this is a very small marker. Something else that they did too is they did away with the little hook or the little snatch grip, little hook that was in the back of it. But another noticeable thing they did was now the regulator, you adjust it through the side, which is really nice. Let's go ahead and weigh it really quick. So there's LED showing that the battery in the gun. Let's go ahead and turn it on. As always, still one of the lightest guns that are on the market. 1 pound, 13.4 ounces. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. 1 pound, 13.4 ounces. So cool. So let me get the camera here a little bit closer. What we're going to do is we're going to take it apart really quick, which is going to take us about 30 seconds. It didn't take very long to take this gun apart at all. Go out and do an efficiency test, and we'll come back for the conclusion. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's address an issue that a lot of people are having with the G4s, which is bolt stick. Okay, I had the same problem that a lot of people are complaining about on the internet about the G4s having bolt stick. Now you'll see that the bolt for the G4 is an O-ring-less bolt. Okay, well there's no O-rings on the bolt. The O-rings are actually inside of the marker. Now, if you are experiencing bolt stick, what I recommend you do is switch to a thinner lube when you first get your gun, even something as thin as mineral oil or even baby oil. And what you want to do is you want to coat your entire bolt in baby oil. Okay, now also what you want to do is go inside of your gun here and lube the O-rings that are inside of the marker with the baby oil as well. Now, one of the things that you can do here is go ahead and turn your gun on, turn your eyes off, and before you air it up, take your bolt and push it all the way forward, okay, as far as it'll go, all the way into the breech. Okay, you want to push it all the way into the breech, and then go ahead and screw on the back cap. Now what that's going to kind of force your bolt to do, it's going to kind of force it to already get seated in these O-rings here, and also any lube that you have on the bolt is going to go ahead and get on the internal O-rings. From here, you should be able to air your gun up and start dry firing it to break the bolt loose, but there is going to be a little bit of a break-in period to try to get, to get the bolt to stop sticking, which it will do when you first get the gun. I had the problem, a lot of people on the internet are complaining about the problem, but I found that if you go with a really thin lube, like a baby oil, like maybe even a Planet Eclipse silicone gun oil, like maybe even like just the gold cup oil or whatever it is, the standard paintball gun oil, any of those type of really thin oils will work really well. And basically what you do is just, once you have your whole internals lube, it should take care of that problem. But let's also go ahead and let's take apart the regulator. The regulator is very simple. Okay, now when taking apart the regulator, all you need to worry about really for the most part is taking apart this top half here. Take the biggest Allen key you have, which is the 3/8, grip it firmly from the bottom section here, and then unscrew it. Now you don't have to take apart the bottom part. All that's in here is a ball bearing and a sled. You don't really have to take apart anything really underneath here. The most important part you have to take apart is this right here, which is your piston. And all you do is go ahead and take your towel, wipe it up, clean up your piston, take your lube. And I'm actually just going to use a little Gorilla Air lube. So you didn't know they made lube, did you? Actually works pretty good. And then go ahead and put a little bit on the inside here. And that's it. Now a lot of people are going to be curious about what exactly this piece is. This piece is basically nothing more than just a spring seat, but in case people are wondering, let's go ahead and take it out. You'll see that there's nothing inside here to worry about. There's nothing in here that, okay, that's it. So there's nothing in here. I mean, there's a little tiny O-ring inside there, but there's nothing you have to worry about. That's your regulator seat that's down inside there. You really should never have to worry about going in that deep and taking out the regulator seat and the ball bearing and the sled and the adjustment screw or anything like that. It's just not really necessary unless you're having a problem with it, which would take quite a bit of shots before you ever have a problem with that. So let's go ahead and put this back together again. And like I said, this is mostly just designed to hold the spring in place, and that's about it. But figure let me take it apart and tell you, then you take it apart at your house, not know what it is, and possibly lose something or break something. So cool. So we got that put together. Let's go ahead and put the two halves back together. And you definitely want to make sure you snug this up nice and tight. Take the 3/8, snug it up. Put it back on the gun. There we go. And we've taken it apart and serviced it, and that's about it. So that's all it takes for the G4. You got a regulator, a two-piece bolt, and that's about it. So let's go ahead and go out and do an efficiency test and come back for the conclusion. Hey, what's up guys, it's Mike, and I'm here with Josh, and he's gonna help me do the efficiency test on the Dangerous Power G4. So what I gotta do here is I gotta pull the camera off the tripod, bring it over here. Now what we're gonna do is we are going to put in our first pod, and there we go. And then let's go ahead and turn on the chronograph. Let's go ahead and turn on the loader. Is the gun on? If the gun's on or not. Let me turn the eyes on the gun. Okay, there we go. Now let's go ahead and shoot it over the chronograph. Let's see where we're at. We're about 308. Shoot another one. 317. Okay, so we're going to turn it down just a little bit. Shoot another one. Shoot another one. Another one. Okay, let's go down a little more. Okay, now let's try it. Okay, it's a little bit humid here in Florida right now, so the paintballs are swelling a little bit. Shoot another one. Another one. Still up a little hot. Go down a little more. Alright, we'll try again. Okay, go ahead, try it now. That should be good. Okay, that looks good to me. Now I'm going to show you the tank temperature, or the tank gauge is sitting right at about, there we go. We're sitting right at about, looks like about 4100 psi. Let's go ahead and take a tank temperature reading. And looks like we're sitting right at about 90, 98 degrees. So cool. So what we're going to do here, let's go ahead and set the tools back up. And now I'm going to come back over here and set the camera up. And then we're just going to shoot until we're out of air. Now we got to be a little careful because it might start to rain. It is overcast right now, so hopefully it doesn't rain on us, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, cool. Go ahead and just start shooting. We'll try a little bit more. I think that's... No, that's it. Okay. We'll put that back in the pot. Okay. You can set the gun right over there. It looks like what we got here. Let's step right over here so down these pods with us. We've got shot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably about 6 1/4 pod out of the Dangerous Power G4. Thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap up the Dangerous Power G4. My thoughts on it, I think they did a great job with this gun. For $300, it's a smoking marker. The one thing that you must be prepared for when you purchase the G4 is the marker is going to have a lot of kick. Okay, these guns notoriously have a lot of kick. Dump valve markers, for the most part, like the G4, have a lot of kick. There's not much you can really do to get rid of the kick, but the one thing I will tell you that you should do is definitely make sure that you are Loctiting the screws down. Okay, make sure that you Loctite your two grip frame screws here. Use blue Loctite. You can purchase it at Home Depot for like $3 for the tube. Put a drop on there and screw it in. Also make sure that you are Loctiting your grip screws. You've got 4 of them, 2 on each side. And if you're going to be dry firing the gun, I definitely recommend that you snug down your feed neck screw, because if you leave this loose, it's actually going to vibrate off. It happened to me, so I called Dangerous Power and had to get another feed neck screw. But as long as you take those precautions, over time you're going to get used to the kick. I mean, if you go with a heavier loader, maybe like a Rotor or a Prophecy, go with a heavier tank like a 68 or a 70. It's going to definitely help you do away with some of that kick, as opposed to going with maybe like a 45 tank and like a Velocity or something like that. But other than the kick on the gun, it doesn't break paint, it shoots great, and it's very easy to maintain. Board's great, packaging's great. So far customer service has been pretty good with Dangerous Power. I know they've been going through some changes and stuff like that. So if you have a customer service problem, I definitely have a little bit of patience. Something else, like I said, if you purchase the Dangerous Power G4 and you are having the bolt stick problems, try the baby oil technique. Lube your whole bolt with baby oil, lube up the inside with baby oil, shove your bolt forward, then put on the back cap and then air it up and then dry fire it a couple times and see if maybe that doesn't break loose some of the bolt stick with it. I also recommend you use good quality batteries. You know, you definitely don't want to be trying to use a Rayovac or Radio Shack or any of that shit. You definitely want to make sure that you're using good quality batteries, Energizers, Duracells, and stuff like that in a gun like this that may be a little bit temperamental with bolt sticks. So all in all, I mean, it's an impressive gun. It's a tiny gun for $300. It's definitely a good shooter. It's a good value in paintball right now. So hopefully that helps answer any questions. Thanks for tuning in.